Hello and welcome. I am Stacey Thomas, author, ALS advocate, film producer, and talk show host. I'm here to motivate, educate, and entertain. Join me on YouTube every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Stacey Thomas Talk Show, where we have powerful discussions centered around health, relationship, careers, and everyday conversation. Follow me on Facebook, I am Stacey Thomas. On Instagram, Stacey Thomas Talk Show. And don't forget, I can promote you too. Email me at iamstaceythomas@gmail.com. Now, it's time for the show. Hello, hello, hello. Thank you for watching the Stacey Thomas Show. I am Stacey Thomas, your host, and tonight I like to tell you guys I'm blessed. Tonight I am truly blessed. I am blessed with an individual that I interviewed on this platform approximately 4 years ago, an individual who has been I'm going to say friend, right? A very honest friend. You always say you want an honest friend, but do you really want an honest friend? This is what I got. Mentor, radio personality, Amazon influencer, speaker, motivational speaker, author. Just listen. Let's welcome Cyrus Webb to the platform. You got me tongue-tied, Cyrus.
Hello, my friend. Stacey, thank you so much for having me back.
Cyrus, I went back to look. When did I first interview Cyrus? It was 4 years ago.
That's
and
amazing.
I can remember following you, sending you an invite. And when you said yes, Cyrus, I was like, God, how did that happen? But anyways, I'm thankful. I'm thankful that you have taken the time to come on my platform, and I always talk about you as my when I was up under you, as you were my PR person and what you've taught me and everything. I'm thankful, and I tell other people about you. I simply tell people about you because I'm not one of those people that want to keep good things to myself.
Yeah.
So much so that I had a lady say to me today, I will be sure to watch your show because I want to know who this Cyrus is. I said, you don't know Cyrus? I said, I've posted him. She said, no. The way you talk about him, I want to know who Cyrus is. So thank you, Cyrus.
Well, Stacey, if I can just say one thing, if you don't mind. You
Sure, you're
talked
going to say
about me
it.
being an honest friend. Let me say that I have been on a lot of shows. My interview with you is one of my favorites that I've had over the years. I appreciate the platform that you're building. I appreciate the due diligence that you do for each and every one of your guests, to making them feel special. And I just want to give you your flowers, ma'am, and say, how much I appreciate the opportunity to be back on your show and to be able to speak with your audience.
Thank you. Thank you. And I want people to know who Cyrus is because people often look at people and they think everything's good.
Mhm.
And you surprised me when I interviewed you, and we'll get to that.
Mhm.
You surprised me with your story. We're going to talk about your new book, and I'm going to bring that up for a minute because I'm excited about that for you. Congratulations on
Thank
your
you.
new book.
Thank you.
Let's see. Inevitable. Inevitable. That's a powerful title. But
Yeah.
before we get to that, Cyrus, for those of you that who don't know you, tell me about you growing up in Mississippi. Tell me, how did your growing up in Mississippi bring you to who you are today?
Well, let's talk about the person that you mentioned that said they didn't know who I am. I always love that, honestly. When people tell me they've never heard of me, I've interviewed people sometimes, and they'll say, "I'm sorry, I'd never heard of you before." And I always get excited about that because one of the things I preach about, Stacey, is you've taken my classes, is about growing the feeder system. So when someone is just learning about me, that lets me know I'm growing my audience, right? Now, growing up in Mississippi, though, I grew up. I tell people I'm a country boy from Rankin County, Mississippi, which is a rural part of the city of Brandon. I grew up with a loving mother, a loving father, who's my stepfather, but he's the only father I've ever known, and a grandmother and family that really showed me by example what love is and what love was and the importance of hard work. Now, fast forward to today, their work was different than what I do, but I took that mindset of what I'm seeing my dad get up every day and go and work for someone, seeing my mom go working one, sometimes two jobs, right? That has always shown me the importance of work. Now, I tell people the other side of that is maybe they weren't there for certain things. I never felt bad about that because I knew they just weren't supporting things because they didn't want to support. They were working. They were showing love by taking care of my brother and myself. So that really did shape a lot of the way I saw the importance of work, Stacey, but also possibilities. Now I never could have imagined the world I live in today, honestly, because this was never part of my plan. But I tell people I got here because of the work ethic that my family instilled.
Wow. Cyrus, had you been an individual in a single parent home, because you brought up your father,
Mhm.
had you been an individual in a single family home, do you think you would have like what's instilled in you today?
Now, some people may disagree with this. I would say yes, knowing my mother.
Okay.
My mother's a go getter.
Yeah.
My mother is someone who will do what's necessary. And plus, we had a tribe, like I mentioned, my grandmother, and other family members, because where I grew up was all around family. I had uncles. So yeah, there was a village there. So I think even if I didn't, now I will say, and I tell my dad this all the time, even this year when so much has been happening, I would not be the person I am without him, though, in the way I look at work. But definitely, I think I would have the same passion and drive because of my mother.
Wow. Yeah, Cyrus, I remember you ended up bringing your mother on the show years ago. I'll never forget that. How you teased her. And
Yes.
then you had your parents on not too long ago. And I got to tell you, I don't know what happened.
Okay. I'm here.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
You can hear me. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna keep on talking. I'm not
Okay.
sure what's
Okay.
happened with the camera. I apologize.
Oh, no problem.
But so you said that your mother and father, their work was different than what you do today.
Right.
So from what I know about you, Cyrus, with the storytelling, the media, the motivational speaking, so that wasn't something that was inherited. That was a gift that you were just blessed with.
Yes. And if you had asked me growing up if I would be doing any of those things, I would have said no.
You would have said no.
I would have said no because that was never my plan, Stacey. You have to remember, I'd never seen it. Right
Right.
now, what I wanted to do, ironically, even my friends that I'm still close to now, that I went to school with, graduated with, I've always wanted to do two things in my life, Stacey: write and draw. That was the only thing. If you ask me, what do you want to be? I want to be an artist. I want to be an author. That was it. TV and all of I never thought about any of that other stuff. So none of that was planned. So I would be lying if I said, "Oh yeah, I had this great plan." No, none of that was planned. I simply wanted to write and draw. Now, how I was going to do that, I didn't know. I didn't have any connections. No one in my family were artists or authors, right? I
Right.
had no connections. I grew up, I mean, I grew up in a family where we didn't have a whole lot. I didn't have a savings account. I didn't, if things happen, that means something didn't get paid, you know, it's to take care of it. So I didn't grow up with all those ideals, but I think what was meant for me was inevitable. That's again ties into the book. This was a path that I didn't even know to dream.
So what brought it on, Cyrus? Like what brought it on? When did you discover this gift?
So that goes back to take you back a little bit. So I've been sharing more of this year as I've been preparing for the release of Inevitable, Stacey. So a lot of people didn't even know. They would see me smiling and all of this. They didn't know I was a very unhappy child.
And
Right. Now, here's the interesting thing, and I want to be clear about this, and I want people to really hear me so that we don't get things twisted, because I think people, because everything I've said so far has been good, right? I
Right.
grew up with a mom and dad. There was no abuse, no neglect, none of that. I wasn't mistreated, bullying, none of that happened. But I was an unhappy child because I did not like me. I didn't believe in myself. Now, this is the interesting thing. I looked at other people and said, well, I'm not tall, I'm this, and I created this narrative for myself. Nobody else was telling me this. And I want to be very clear about that. And that's why I think we have to treat people case by case when we think about depression and suicide and different things. If you had looked at me, you would have thought, oh, Cyrus is he's a smart kid, he this and that. But I was a very unhappy person because I didn't see my own value and worth. So by the time I was 20, I tried to take my life 3 times. And so it was the last time that my family found out. So it was at that point I realized, okay, there is something. I'm here for something. So at the age of 20, that was when things started to turn, Stacey. So I started realizing I needed to tell that story. People needed to know that story. And I started telling that story, ironically, in poetry. That's how I started sharing it, in poetry, then in spoken word. I started going to spoken word cafes. And that led me to creating art around it. And ironically, Stacey, that is what got me noticed. In 1999, I appeared in the newspaper for the very first time telling this story. And that's what propelled me to become a public figure locally. You have to think we didn't have social media and all of that then. So that propelled me locally to being known. So then people would bring me in to speak. So we go from 1999 to when I first appeared in the newspaper. And then 2003, I was speaking at an event, Stacey, sharing my story about overcoming depression and self-loathing. And a man walked up to me at this event. And he said to me, I really enjoyed your presentation, but you have a very nice voice. Have you ever thought about doing radio? And that one question changed the whole trajectory of my life. He owned a radio station in Jackson, Mississippi, and gave me my very first opportunity. And that's led me to now where I am today.
Well, thank God you thought you were good enough to do that, or you wouldn't be here today.
Yeah.
And it's something, Cyrus, from the time I interviewed you and following you and hearing you tell this story, excuse me, it's made me realize more very quickly. My son, who everybody praised and excelled in school, and everybody thought he would do so much. Mm-hmm. And I just learned recently, he never believed any of that about himself.
Yeah.
And it led him down the wrong path, Cyrus.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's why I tell the story, Stacey, because I've gone places and told this story. I've gone into schools. I get invited to go into schools here in Mississippi. It never fails. At least one boy or girl will come up to me and say, I've thought about, killing myself. I felt that way about myself. Thank you so much for, I feel like it's my responsibility. Now, my family did not want me to tell people, but now I understand, because that how, especially in the Black community, these aren't things that are talked about a lot, which is part of the problem, by the way. And I think they didn't want people to look at me strange, right? But I realized that was part of my power, because that's my story. My story is not abuse. My story is not being homeless. That's not my story, but this is my story, and this story matters. And the proof has been there that people can benefit from that story, and to know they're not by themselves in feeling that feeling of self-loathing or not believing in themselves. And that's why I don't mind telling it, because I know just by doing that, I can save someone's life.
Wow. And that leads me up to, I want to know about this new bestseller. We're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back.
You need to stop scrolling right now if you're still creating content that gets ignored. I used to spend hours creating posts that got 12 likes and 0 sales. Does this sound familiar? Then I discovered the exact system that took my content from crickets to cash. Last month alone, this strategy helped me have my biggest month this year. Now, I've packed everything into my July Creator Boost bundle, the templates, the strategies, and secrets that actually work. But here's the thing. When July comes to an end, so does this bundle. Look, click that link in the bio or the description. Grab it now before it's gone forever. Your future self is going to thank you.
Okay, we're back. I am Stacey Thomas, your host, and I am talking to media personality, influencer, and motivational speaker, Cyrus Webb. The commercial that you just saw is by Earl Hall. The sale ends tomorrow, but not to worry. If you're someone that's not worried about the sale, Earl will still be available. Follow him at Earl Hall Studios. Cyrus. Whew. Cyrus, I don't mean to put the title on you, but it's like, when you talk about suicide, I think of suicide to success. You've interviewed on your show more than 13,000 people. Yeah. I'm thinking to myself, how does that happen? Cyrus, just tell me, like, the first interview you did, how did you get the interview and what made you continue to do it?
That is a funny story, and it leads to something I talk about in the book as well, and that is Conversations Live was not the show I was brought into the station to do. So when I was brought into the station, the story I told you about, the gentleman, giving me the opportunity, it was supposed to be a talk radio vibe of my giving my thoughts about things, having callers calling in. I knew nothing about that world, by the way.
Okay.
So I'm thrust into that very first show. This is live, by the way, live on the air. I have a producer sitting here, the handyman. Still remember my producer for the show. He was in the studio, and here I am trying to do this thing, talking about myself, and I'm like, this is not working. So I'm telling people, if you have thoughts, call in. I didn't know what I was doing. And then Handyman says to me, we have a caller. And this is where the God part of this came in, because it's also why I built my business the way I have, Stacey. And I get so excited telling this story because I want people to know there's that saying, it's not about you. Right. The person that called in was Angela Sarton. You know her, Stacey, as Angela Collier, the wife of Chris Collier, who was also a member of the CMG family.
Yes.
She's an artist. She and I had done projects together. She's like, oh, Cyrus, I'm listening to you on the radio. I'm so happy for you. I just had to call in and say, and I could hear a voice just as clear say, Cyrus, ask her about her. And I said, Angela, thank you so much for calling. For those who don't know you and the great work you're doing in the arts, why don't you tell them about yourself? And the moment she started talking, I realized I was doing the show completely wrong. And that happened the very first episode. So that's why I love telling the story, because the show went from being Let's Talk with Cyrus Webb. That was the name of the show initially, to Conversations with Cyrus Webb. And now, of course, it's Conversations Live with Cyrus Webb. But I'm going to give you an exclusive, Stacey, if you would like.
Of course.
It's okay. Do you want it?
I want it.
Okay. September the 1st, the show is going back to Conversations with Cyrus Webb.
It is September 1st.
Yeah. So instead of being Conversations Live, it's going to be Conversations with Cyrus Webb. And the reason why I'm going back to what was the initial name of the show, because now with the changes in broadcasting and everything, especially with Blog Talk Radio going away the way it has, a lot of my shows were done live there. I don't do as many quote unquote live for radio now. And I want to be true to that and call the show what it really is. So the show will be starting September 1st. We'll go back to being Conversations with Cyrus Webb.
And speaking of radio, how many radio stations are you on?
I'm on terrestrial radio stations, physical radio stations. I'm on 2 and iHeartRadio. And then, of course, for online, I'm on others.
And then you have a huge platform on Amazon?
I have a huge platform on Amazon.
You have a very huge platform on Amazon.
I'm very proud of what I've built with Amazon. I have to say, I used to be embarrassed by it, though, to be honest with you, because I have a problem still with success, and I've talked about this before. And when I would get the number, sometimes I would feel funny about it. You know, that sounds weird. That sounds weird, right? But success has always scared me. And I've talked about this more recently, and I go into depth of this in the book. And that's also why I realized, Stacey, I tried to kill myself. And I talk about that in the book. I was afraid that I wouldn't live up to the greatness other people saw in me.
Cyrus.
And now I realize that it was inevitable based on what I said earlier about the work ethic, the dedication, and faith. So it all kind of ties in together. So what I built with Amazon starting in 2010, when I wrote my very first review on Amazon, and I actually tell that story in the book because a lot of people don't even know how I started with Amazon. I was trying to write a review on another platform that I never mentioned. And I was having issues. And that took me to Amazon. I knew nothing about Amazon being, you could be a top reviewer, you can make money. I didn't know any of that, Stacey, none of it. I just wanted a place to share my reviews on books and music. I was like, okay, I'll do it on Amazon. I didn't know people actually read those and rated them and then would reach out to you and ask you if you'd like to do this. Would you like? I didn't know any of that in 2010. And I'm glad I didn't, because I think it would have colored my motivation for it. I was doing it because I genuinely loved it, not because I was trying to collect a check or trying to be some huge whatever. I was doing it based on my passion for sharing. I love sharing. And so I look at now, I have close to 3 million views on my show that I have on Amazon. We're one of the top 5 media shows. I'm number 2, actually. I always say top 5, but I'm actually number 2. So, we have had our best year in the 5 years. Because for those who don't know, when people come on my show where they have music, books, products, when people make purchases, of course, the brands get their money, but I also get a percentage. My sales are up 1,000% this year. 1,000%.
You are one of the goats in this world. You are one of the goats.
Well, it is, but see, I used to wouldn't even talk about that, but I now know the brands like for me to brag on that a little bit. So I am up 1,000% in my revenue for Amazon.
Cyrus.
But in all seriousness, though, all of that is very humbling to me. But the truth of the matter is, it doesn't matter to me, Stacey. I don't get up every day saying I'm the top whatever. I get up every day. How can I make a difference today?
And you're on all day long.
I'm on a lot. I am on a lot. Yeah.
But when you find that one thing, right? Yeah. So you have millions of views for your Amazon show, right?
Yeah.
You never want to say, okay, this is it. This is going to give me what I want. What makes you still, Cyrus? You're on all day long. You're giving classes. You're mentoring other people. You're a publicist for people all across the country. Yeah. Why do it if you're okay?
Because it's bigger than me. And that's the thing I've learned about my gift. My gift is so much bigger than what makes Cyrus comfortable and makes Cyrus' life comfortable. My gift is about showing other people what's possible for them and amplifying the gift in them, like I've been able to amplify the gift in myself. That's what gets me excited every day.
Wow.
Genuinely, that is what gets me excited. Ooh. I get excited for other people, Stacey, as I get for myself. Because at this point, I'm good.
I know that feeling.
And I wake up every day knowing it's bigger than me. Because for one thing, I know I'm going to work regardless. I tell people, if all of this went away today, and I mean this sincerely, my family, my mom will tell you, because my mom will tell you, I'm a hustler. If all this, I would have no problem going to my local grocery store, seeing if they were looking for a part-time stocker or cashier or something. I would do that and do my business on the side. I think the mistake people make is they think it has to be all or nothing. I think they think if I'm not doing this full time, I'm not doing something. Or if I have to supplement it with a job, I'm not. That is a lie. Now, again, my story is different than a lot of people, and I'm a single guy. I'm cheap, so I don't require a whole lot. I have no problem eating sardines, or Campbell's soup in the can, or a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. And I'm
Well,
being totally serious when I say this. And so I don't mind. I know how to live in a way that if it all went away, it would not shock my system.
wow.
Because I tell people I wake up every day at zero anyway. Because my waking up in the morning is a gift. You have to think 30 years ago, I tried to kill myself.
Three
So
times.
so me opening my eyes, being able to move my own legs and arms, to walk without feeling pain, that is a win.
That's
So
that's
anything else I do is a bonus.
Cyrus. I love what you just said. People don't realize anytime you can wake up and do those things, it's a blessing.
Mm-hmm.
The book, I don't know if it's going to make people cry. If things affect people differently. I want to show it one more time before we talk about it.
Yeah.
Inevitable. For those that are watching, I do have the link in the comments. Mm-hmm. You can go to Amazon and purchase the book. Yeah. Cyrus, the book is, I have not read the whole book.
Yeah. Well, it officially comes out September the 30th. So on International Podcasting Day, so I'm expecting you to do something special that day, Stacey. September 30th is International Podcast Day. So all podcasters out there, you should be doing something to recognize that day. Okay, now back to
I'll be doing big things if Cyrus comes on my platform.
Hey, I will be doing it. But I want to mention something about the book that I say in the book.
Okay.
That I want people to know. This book is my story. I literally say in the first chapter, I'm the hero and villain of my own story. This book is not pointing the fingers at anyone because, as I've already shared, there's no one that I need to say this person did this to me. I don't have those situations. This is about how I have been my own stumbling block, how I have been my own worst enemy, how my decisions have cost me in relationships, have cost me in opportunities. Because the reason why I wrote the book this way, Stacey, is because I want people to get out of this whole mentality of, if I'm doing well, I did it. If I'm not doing well, this person or God did it. I want us to look at ourselves in every situation and say, what role did I play in that? And I think most people aren't honest enough with themselves in doing that. I'm very in tune with myself to know, okay, I didn't handle that well. I could have made a different decision. And that's what this book is doing. Hopefully holding a mirror up to you to say, you know what? If I have not done this or that, what could I have done differently? How could I have chosen better with people I do business with? How could I have chosen better in communicating, what I expected from people? And that's what I wanted to do in this book. And that's what made writing this book easy. I think there will be some parts that people may find difficult, but only because it's going to strike a nerve.
One thing about you, Cyrus, I wasn't going to go there. You will be honest, even if it strikes a nerve, but we have to appreciate your honesty. Mm-hmm. Inevitable. What made you title the book that?
So I love movies and television shows. I'm a big fan. Most people probably would not want to watch movies and TV shows with me, Stacey, because I don't watch them for entertainment. I watch them for edutainment. So everything I watch, I look for messages, for lessons, for things I can apply for myself and share with others. One of my favorite trilogies out there is the Matrix trilogy. And the antagonist of the trilogy is a program called Smith. If you've seen the Matrix movies, you know Smith. Uh-huh. Well, in the second movie, which was not my favorite of the trilogy, but in the second one, when he's about to get the best of Neo, Keanu Reeves' character, he's about to destroy, he says it's inevitable. And then, of course, Neo's able to get away. But in the third movie, Keanu Reeves realizes something about what Smith was actually saying. And at the very end, when they were fighting, if you've seen the very last movie, he says to him, Smith, you were right. It is inevitable. And the message of what I realized when I saw that, and they use that phrase again about being inevitable, was this was always the way it was going to be if you were going to get the result you wanted. So for Neo, he had to give up something to bring around peace. I realized that everything I was afraid of growing up, everything that people told me I was going to be, because of my work ethic and my faith, Stacey, it was inevitable. I was only slowing it down. As long as I was on this earth, I was always, my very name means the shining one. Cyrus means the shining one. And so that's always been my thing about being a light in the life of other people. And so that's why that felt like the perfect title for this book, that everything I was afraid of not being, I've become.
Cyrus, and you mentioned being gifted with what you needed. Mm-hmm. What do you mean by that?
Yeah, so I feel like for myself, my gifts are twofold. My gifts show that you can be a short boy of color with crooked teeth, 4 eyes, coming from nothing and becoming everything you could ever imagine. But it also reminds people that if that guy could do it, you know what I'm saying? And I have a little bit of height, I have looks, I have the guy, I have the girl, then I know I need to keep going. And that's what I want. Just like I realized my path was inevitable, I want people, Stacey, when they read the book to realize, you know what? No, I'm not giving up.
Not giving up.
This was given to me for a reason. It's inevitable for me to do it. Now, the reason why, and shout out to Chanel Cumming Wesley who designed that cover. She didn't even know this was in the book, but you notice that almost that road that she has in the back. The journey is the key. And so many people, Stacey, are looking for shortcuts. And I realized that when I think about 1999 was the very first time I appeared in the newspaper. I was working a full-time job, right? Take that from 1999 to 2005. I had to quit that full-time job because this was taking over everything. Now, I didn't know that was going to happen. All I knew was that I was going to use the time I had to be able to make something happen. So my part-time thing ended up replacing my full-time thing, and I have not worked for anybody else since.
Wow. And even with all that you're doing, you talked about self-sabotage. Mm-hmm. Self-sabotage, is that when people tell you you're in your own way?
Yeah, exactly. And I've talked about this publicly more in the past year. I'm a person that, and this is now I understand that this is something that everyone can relate to, but I want people to hear me out on what I'm saying, because this is still real and my story matters. So even if you can't relate, just listen anyway. I'm a person, Stacey, I know things are going to do so well, I will try to slow them down. I had said I was not going to write this book because I knew this book was going to end up getting me on national television. And I wasn't sure at this point if that's what I wanted to be on national television doing. So I had said I wasn't going to write this book. But when I turned 50 this year, I thought to myself, people need to know. They need to know the story. They need to know how this all happened, that this was not something given to me. I've worked hard for this. Right. And I've worked hard for this every day. Every day. I get up every day, regardless of who and I got a big interview I just booked for Monday too. But I wake up every day at 0. That's what I tell people, because what happened yesterday, that's great. Pat yourself on the back. But okay, what about today? Right. What are you going to do today to move the needle forward? And that's what I live by that myself. But I also try to get other people to think that same way. Yeah, you did that back in 1999. That's awesome. But it is 2025 now, And so what are we going to do to say this is what I did this year? And doesn't have to be a big thing, Stacey. It can just be, you know what? I started writing in my journal that, my thoughts about that book I said I was going to write. I think what happens with people, Stacey, and I've seen people make this mistake, and I think it's sad, but I understand because we live in a world where everyone wants everything now, right? But they will do something for a whole 3 hours, and it doesn't work, and they say, "Well, see, I told you that wasn't going to work," And I'm like, you only did it for 3 hours, I mean, and I'm exaggerating, but it's the same thing if you did it for 3 days, 3 weeks, 3 months. I've been doing this for 22 years. 22 years, Stacey, I made this year. And so imagine when I first started, do you realize I now interview 400 plus people a year now? Do you know it took me from 2003 to 2008 to even reach 400 guests? You see what I'm saying? So
Wow.
Imagine if I had said in 2003, well, I've only interviewed 25 people. Well, for one thing, the show didn't start to July 2003. So it wasn't like I had a whole year, And a lot of people don't realize this. When the radio show started on the radio in Mississippi, I was only on once a week. Now I'm on 7 days a week. You see what I'm saying? But
Wow.
It didn't happen this way overnight. This has all been a process. And I think people, one of my friends here in Mississippi, he has this saying, trust the process. That's what you have to do. And you can't be in it thinking, okay, I'm gonna give it 90 days. That's not giving it enough time to even breathe. Just like you said, someone doesn't even know who I am, but you know what? They'll know now.
And she knows now.
And that's what you have to think about.
Right.
Every day is an opportunity to reach someone new, to do something new, to achieve something new. But if you give up too soon, you'll never get there.
Wow. Wow. I hope, yeah. When she said, I don't know him, I guess I was like, but I talk about him all the time. And you're definitely one of those people because of the magazine, the radio show, and all that you're doing, Cyrus. I honestly feel like I said earlier, if I meet someone good, if I meet someone that's blessing someone, I don't keep it to myself. And with that said, Cyrus, people, and this happened not too long ago, someone was having a sale and I said something about the product to them, and they said, well, why is it so cheap? And that reminded me, Cyrus, of when I asked you, and please tell us, when I said, Cyrus, why are your prices so low based on all that you have going on when you teach us a class? What was your answer, Cyrus?
So this is one of those, if you can't say amen, say ouch moments. So you really want me to answer that question, Stacey?
Yes.
Because I wanted people to have to admit to themselves a simple truth. If the price is so low and you're not doing it, then the real problem is you. If I'm making it available to you at a price that you're saying is cheap and you don't take advantage of it, then there's a problem there. And I think for myself, I never wanted price to be the excuse, Stacey, that people use. They just have to admit that they're not ready, that they're not ready to invest in themselves. They're not ready to do the work. They're not ready to learn. They want you to give. I spoke at an event out of state. I'm not even going to say what state it was, but I had spoken and people were asking me afterwards, do you teach classes? And I told them yes. This one lady said to me, well, do you teach this? And I said, yeah. She said, well, can't I just have you do it? And I thought to myself, well, you could. I said, but I want you to learn because I don't want you to always be with me. I want you to be able to use it and go, but she didn't want that. She just wanted me to do it. That's the mistake so many people are making today, Stacey. They want the success, but they don't want to do the work to get it. They don't want to put in the 15-hour days that I put in. They don't want to make the sacrifices that I've chosen to make, but they want the success. So really what they're saying is they don't want the success because if you're not going to put in the work, and that's why I say to people, I want to take away the excuse of you saying, oh, that's too high, I can't afford it. Because if you're admitting yourself it's not too high, then the only thing that's stopping you is you.
Wow. Cyrus, you always got a lot to say.
Do
You
I?
know, Cyrus, a lot of good stuff to say.
I'm a really shy person though, Stacey.
I
You know?
can't tell. I never can tell that. Never. Uh, Not when you're sending me videos for asking you questions and telling me you done told me 50 times. And folks, that's the nice version, okay?
Right, right.
Cyrus, no, I say that because you're so interesting, and I know you're a busy man, and I don't want to hold you up. But Cyrus, what does your legacy mean to you today? What does that mean?
Now, the last time someone asked me this question, I cried. But I've been thinking a lot about legacy because reaching 50 is no small thing these days.
Excuse me, Cyrus, I'm 54 and I still consider myself as being young.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But it's no small thing.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
I've been to a lot of my classmates' funerals, Stacey.
yeah, yeah.
And so to have reached this milestone, I feel like what my legacy is at this particular moment. Now in 2026, it will probably be different.
Okay, okay.
But in this particular moment,
I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay.
in this particular moment, my legacy is believe that you can and you will. That's my legacy. If you believe that you can, you will. It all begins and ends right here. Like I mentioned, I was my own hero and villain, but it all was up here. And I want people to know if I can get out of my own way, the success that I want, it may not look like Cyrus Webb's success or Stacey Thomas's success, but the success that I want is inevitable.
Wow. And for those Cyrus who are listening,
Mm-hmm.
I'm always learning something from you, even tonight, who feel stuck, who feel defeated,
Mm-hmm.
or who's pretty much sabotaging their own self.
Yeah.
You've already told us a lot, but is there anything else you have to say about that?
Yeah. I would say this, especially if you're a person of faith as I am. I would say this, you were not created for anything but greatness. The mistake I think a lot of people make, Stacey, is they compare their greatness to someone else. Now, I've never had that problem, which is why I've never been jealous of people, and which I think is a total waste of time.
Right.
I've never looked at somebody and said, why do they get to do this? Or why are they on this? And I've never, because again, my battle has been here. But I want people to know that you were created for nothing but greatness. But it's up to you to believe it and walk in it. And that greatness is going to look different for everyone, and that's okay. But as long as it's a greatness that you can lay down, I go to bed every night happy.
You
I'm the
sleep?
happiest I've been in my life.
You sleep?
Oh, yes, I sleep. I sleep fast, but I do sleep. But I am at a place of joy that I say to myself, even if I don't wake up in the morning, I am happy with the life that I've lived. I'm happy with the people I've touched. I'm not a person who leaves things unsaid, as you know. So I don't have a list of people that I wish I'd said this. No, whether they wanted to have the conversation or not, I've had those conversations. So I'm a person who can go to sleep at night in peace, and there's no better feeling than that.
So you're one of those people that you would be proud to say, "Let my work speak for me."
Oh, evidently. Now, I will also say this too, and I say in the book, I'm a big believer, and Stacey has taken my classes, and she knows I will say this: do as I say, not as I do in this respect. If you want a family, go for that. If you want to travel the world and go on vacations, go for that. That's not for me. That's not for me. So I don't want you to think you can't do those things. But what I am hoping you realize by what I shared here and what I share in the book is that the life you want will cost you the life that you have. The life that you want will cost you the life that you have. Doesn't mean you have to give it up, but you will have to make some hard decisions. I've had to make some very hard decisions in my life. But I have no regrets because I'm living the life that I want. If I wasn't living the life I wanted, Stacey, I would do something different. I don't believe in wallowing in regret. I believe in making, you know how I am about that. I believe in making changes. If something's not working, you change it. If I want something different, I go after something different. But if you found your happy place, as I have, then you'll protect that.
Speak, Cyrus, speak. Cyrus, how can people get the book?
Well, they can pre-order it now. Stacey says she has it on link. Stacey, I'm going to do something for you.
What you gonna do for me?
Is that okay?
Of course.
It's Thursday somewhere. So let me say this. I have been teasing a very big surprise. And Stacey is someone who I believe in. I trust. I give Stacey a hard time, and deservedly so, but that's a whole different conversation. But I have been teasing something, and I'm going to share it here on Stacey's platform because I want her to be able to have this to be able to use. I am, as I've said before, I'm a big movie person. And there are people who disagree with me on this, Stacey. The whole field of dreams adage, if you build it, they will come. I believe that. That has been the truth for me. There are some people who feel like that is not true, and that's personal. Success is personal, right? But I had a vision when I reached a certain level of success, and I realized that there were other opportunities that I could present. I realized that there was more I could do. And so I went to my family and I told them about this vision I had of creating a place. Because right now, for those who don't know, I have 3 studios in my home. I've converted 3 rooms in my home into studios. That's what you see now. This is actually Studio B that I'm sitting in now. But I don't have a physical place outside of my home that I use as a studio. Now, thanks to Amazon, because Amazon takes good care of me, I have everything I need here. But with the growth that I'm experiencing, with the brand offers I have, the opportunities I have with brands, I knew I needed to do something. So I'm going to share something that I'm going into more detail with tomorrow. But I'm going to share it here on Stacey's platform here. One of the things that I'm announcing tomorrow that you all getting exclusive right now is that Conversations Media Group is going to be building its own studio in my home city, in my home county in 2026.
I told you I want to scream, but I can't.
It's your show. You can do whatever you want to do.
No, and you got me feeling like $1,000,000 because you said that on my show, because we know it after all is Thursday somewhere.
Yeah.
I gotta ask you, when you thought about it, and you said you envisioned it, did you really believe, or I'm sorry?
It was inevitable. It was inevitable, Stacey. This is something that's been. I was offered this. You all don't know this. I was offered this in 2020. I was offered the means to do this in 2020. I was not in a good place up here.
I'm sorry.
Now to receive, and I didn't even tell anybody. Nobody knew.
You can't, because everybody's not praying for you.
Yeah. And so I knew Cyrus wasn't ready for that. And so I'm a big believer, and you know that I've told you, because as I've shared, I know how to slow walk things. I knew it was inevitable, but I also know I had the means to slow it down. You see what I'm saying? Notice what I've been telling you guys since last year. I'm in a different mind space now. And I'm in a mind space, Stacey, where I realize no matter how much I try to slow things down, it's inevitable. It's going to happen.
That's her, Cyrus. Get her.
She said, how you doing?
She didn't know who Cyrus was.
I appreciate it. But it's inevitable. So it's like there's no time like the present.
Cyrus.
So it was never an idea of could it happen. It could have happened 5 years ago. It was a question of would I be ready for it? And I'm ready for it now.
You're ready for it. You sure you're ready for it?
Oh, it's no doubt. The question is, are y'all ready for what's coming? That's going to be the whole thing. Y'all going to need support groups by the time I finish.
Tell us when the big announcement's going to be.
So this is one component. What I just shared with Stacey. There's another component that's really going to get some people. 7 a.m. Thursday morning, 7 a.m. Eastern time, 6 a.m. Central time where I live, which is 4 a.m. PST. There will be a video that will premiere across social with the full announcement of everything. Now, let me tell y'all something. I showed Stacey part of the video, but she don't know. There's more than even what I shared with her already. I'm a sneaky one.
Yes, you are. Quiet as a mouse. There's going to be more.
There's more.
You know, I'm like you. I don't get jealous of people. Thank God. I don't have enviousness in me. Mm-hmm. But you really got me on an emotional roller coaster here. Mm-hmm. And one would think if they walked in the house was like, Stacey, you the one got this thing going. And not your guess. I'm excited for you.
Well, thank you.
I'm happy for you. I believe in you. Mm-hmm. I've always believed in you. You are, for me, someone God placed in my life, even if it does not seem like I'm thankful, even if I'm not doing exactly what you tell me to do, I am so thankful for you. I am so proud of you. And you can't say that about everybody because there's always people that want something from you.
Yeah.
You keep giving and giving.
Well, let me tell you something, Stacey. My mother will tell you, as you heard her say in the interview, I had no problem saying no to anybody, her included. So people asking, that don't matter. I can say yes and I can say no and be fine with it. But I want to say this about you, Stacey. I have had such an admiration for you for quite some time because I see you, and I think in ways you don't even see yourself. Almost like what people saw in me that I didn't see in myself. But what I realized about Stacey and what's true for so many people, when it doesn't happen when we think it should, right? The thing I want you to remember, Stacey, and I hope your audience remember, something is happening though. When I wrote that first review in 2010, that was something. When I kept writing reviews until 2012, when I became a top, things were happening before 2012. But the thing is, that 2012 thing wouldn't have happened if I hadn't been doing that between 2010 and 2012. You see what I'm saying? So what I would say to Stacey, what I said to everyone, keep doing what you're doing because it's making a difference. It's building up. What I have been doing now for 22 years has led me to what I'm doing right now. I wouldn't have been ready for it any other way. If someone had just handed me all of this, Stacey, I wouldn't have been ready for it and it wouldn't have lasted. Because I wouldn't have understood what worked, what didn't work. You know, how to do this, who not to work with, who to work with, who to listen to. So it's all part of the process.
Don't make me come down there to Mississippi so I can keep an eye on everything. Don't make me tell Lover I'll be gone a while.
You're welcome. And this is what that's why I made a post this week, because that's why I said this is bigger than me. What's happening now, this is because, like I said, I'm good at this point. This is for Mississippi, but this is also for the dreamer out there. This is for the person who comes from a small town in nowhere, Nebraska, and have never seen an author, never seen a TV personality, and I want them to look as I had never seen. I want them to be able to look at this and say, wow, it is possible.
Wow.
Because it is. I'm proof of it. If I can do all I've done with no college education, no broadcast experience, no connections, no trust fund, no big savings in the beginning, right. And then if I can do what I've done without all of that, then there's no reason why other people can't do it too, if you're willing to do the work to do it.
I know, Cyrus, but it gets hard. But I'm going to listen to Cyrus Webb. Cyrus.
Now, this is what she tells me, know me personally, but now she's telling all of y'all. So y'all, I want y'all to hold Stacey accountable here. And send her a message. Are you listening to Cyrus?
Cyrus, how do, excuse me, there's so much. There's the Amazon shows, the 4 Amazon shows, Cyrus?
4.
3 or 4?
8. Don't insult me.
There's 8.
There's 8 Amazon shows.
Cyrus.
Stacey almost made me tell us on her own show.
Where did I get 4? 8?
I don't know. Maybe because you have 4 fingers. I don't know. I don't know where you go.
I'm trying to let you go. I know you're busy. What are the 8 shows, Cyrus?
Okay. So I want y'all to count on with me. There's At Home with Cyrus Webb, which is the at-home show. There's Cyrus Webb Presents, where I do the interviews. There's Cyrus Webb and Friends, which Stacey has been a part of, and hopefully she'll get back there.
I'll be back.
There's the Art Spot, where I do my art shows.
Yeah.
Okay. Then there is Words I Choose to Live By. That's on Mondays. We return in 2 weeks with the new season.
Okay.
There's The Right Stuff. Remember, Stacey, I thought you was a guest on The Right Stuff, weren't you? That is for writers to share their story. There's the Author's Den. That's a show I co-host with Dr. Taz.
Okay.
You guys probably have seen that one. And then there's Minding Your Business, my business show.
And then there's you and Marquita.
Oh, well, you see that I don't count the seasonal. So there's season. I do. Then I have 4 seasonal shows. So yes, there's the show I'm doing the 30-week series with Makita Smith. That is Flying Over 50 at Any Age. There is my seasonal show I'm doing with Allie Dowsimer. It's Okay Not to Be Fabulous every day. Yeah, as well. Then there's seasonal shows too.
So to find these shows, the 8 shows. We go to Amazon and type in Cyrus Webb and we'll see a store.
You can go to cyruswebbshow.live. That's cyruswebbshow.live. Or you can find everything, Stacey, at cyruswebb.com. You had it up there earlier. That's my link tree. It has everything right there.
Thank you, Ashahid. Thank you. He says, congratulations, Cyrus.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Cyrus, how do people... Well, you know, let me tell you what I told somebody one time, and I'm going to let you go.
Okay.
So I told somebody who's an author at the university I work at, I said, hey, you really need to connect with this man. I sent your name, and I said, he's this, blah, blah, blah. And he asked me, is he a scam? I never told you this. Mm-hmm. And I was happy that I could say, Google him.
Yeah.
I didn't have to send him in the info. Google him.
Yeah. So
for those authors, people that have products, businesses, or things that fit your platform, the website, Cyrus, is that a good place for them to go also?
Yeah, or any social media, but I will tell them here what I say on my lives, and Stacey will tell you. I don't like people messaging me, telling me what they're thinking about doing. I feel like that's a waste of your time and a waste of my time, and I'm a little busy. So if you're on my page, check it out. All the information is there about all my services. If you see something you want to do, my DM is open for you. I don't want you to do what's the equivalent of standing in line at the grocery store when people are in front of you and behind you, you getting up to the cashier with nothing in your buggy, and you saying to the cashier, you know, I saw those cashew nuts you have on sale. I'm thinking about coming back and getting those Friday, and then walk you out of the store. Because you've then wasted everyone's time in line. You wasted that cashier's time, and you've made a complete fool out of yourself. So I'm telling you now, please don't message.
I want to be that honest on my platform. I've been told, take it down.
Yeah. So please don't do the equivalent of that and say, I'm thinking about in January doing this. Because first of all, let me tell you, the prices were changing in October. So if you're thinking about it in January, the conversation is going to be null and void anyway. And especially after the announcement tomorrow, if you're an author and you're not involved with me before August the 1st, you're really going to be missing out, especially with one of the announcements I'm making tomorrow. Because I'm going to be offering something that most authors dream of being a part of.
Oh, wow.
Isn't that right, Stacey?
Oh,
Stacey knows.
wow.
Stacey saw the video. Isn't that right, Stacey?
Cyrus.
You can say that part. You can say that. Yeah,
Uh,
that's right. That's right.
that's right. That's right. Cyrus.
Yeah.
Listen, I tell these people, I'm the bridge that, but in this case, I'm getting blessed by the guests too. I'm the bridge that connects you to the blessing. I can't make you. I'm taking you to the water. I can't make you drink it. It's
Right.
your choice.
And you know what, Stacey? I'm sorry. I have to say this. Let me tell you. I was asked recently in an interview by Eugene Williams. I don't know if you follow him,
I don't
but
think so.
great interview. And he asked me what's one of the things that bothers me the most. And I want to tell you, it ties in what you just said. The thing that bothers me the most, that makes me the saddest, and this is no lie, I'm not even exaggerating. Stacey, you know what makes me the saddest? Realizing that everyone I want to help is not ready for the help. Everyone that I want to see win is not ready to win. That makes me the saddest because I have tried to help people that I realize, you know what, they don't really want this. And the reason why I can say this is because of their actions. So to the point you're making, I use this saying, you've heard me say, I've divorced myself from the outcome. I present opportunities, but Stacey will tell you, I'm not going to be messaging and saying, hey, you said you were interested in such. No, I don't do that. I don't chase in my personal life. I don't chase in my professional life. If I make something available, it's available. If you want it, if you're serious, you will come to me. I'm not going to be chasing after you. No one in my 22 years, Stacey, will say, I have been, especially since we've had social media, said I've been messaging them saying, hey, are you still going to do that thing? You still interested in? No, I don't do that. For one thing, I'm too busy. I'm too busy to be doing that.
That you are. That you are.
You know, so I'm not going to be doing that. And if it's not important enough for you, that's not affecting me at all.
You and your honesty. I love it. I love it.
Well, this was part of the growth.
Right. It's almost, yeah. It's like now I have to tell myself, Stacey, don't feel bad for knowing your worth.
Yeah.
You know, I have to tell myself that. Shahid wants to know where's the art show, Cyrus?
Oh, thank you. So you can find it on Amazon too. So if you go again to cyruswebbshow.live, you can see the art there. You can also see it on my Facebook page. So you want to follow me on Facebook, you can see the art on my Facebook as well. And you want another exclusive, Stacey? This is something nobody knows. Not even my team knows this.
You're making me feel so good. I'm gonna wake up tomorrow morning.
So y'all, I'm giving Stacey another exclusive that people won't find out for another couple of days.
What?
On the art spot on Monday, I'm drawing American Idol winner Jamal Roberts on my show. I'm drawing him.
You are.
And so you all are getting exclusive right here. That's what the art spot is on Mondays on Amazon, but we also simulcast it on social media. I'm drawing because he's from my home state. I'm going to be drawing American Idol winner Jamal Roberts live.
And when you do that, does it get to the person? Like, well, of course, with your followers, I'm sure they'll see it. Okay.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have asked
he and I are connected, but I'm doing it as part of my collection I have called Familiar Faces. Like I've drawn Barbara Streisand, I've drawn Beyonce, I've drawn Prince, I've drawn Whitney Houston. I have a series called Familiar Faces, and it's going to be a part of that.
Wouldn't it be something one day if you're telling the world you're drawing Stacey Thomas? Don't show my neckline. Did you hear me, Cyrus?
I did, but I'm being nice.
You know what, Cyrus? Cyrus.
Hey, Stacey, that's enough honesty for today.
It's been great, Cyrus. It has been great. I'll be on it.
I've had a great time. Thank you so much for having me. I hope I can get to come back.
If you have time. Thank you, Cyrus. Have a good night.
Thanks. You as well. Thank you.
Hey, don't say that, Stacey. I want to apologize for the camera mishaps. I do apologize, but you have to admit it was still a great interview. Head over to Amazon. Here's the book. Head over to Amazon and you can purchase the Kindle version. The hard copy is not out yet, and it's called Inevitable, and it's by Cyrus Webb. And don't forget, you can follow him on Cyrus Webb's platforms. Thank you for watching. Thank you very much. And to everybody, as I always say, Don't stress too much about yesterday. Don't worry too much about tomorrow, because if you do, you just might miss living today. Have a great night.